Welcome back to Satisfactory. I am so glad you are here. Hey, we've got to do a couple things. One, look at all that nuclear pasta we're making. We need to store some of these pressure cubes so we can use them for other purposes. So I'm going to whip out one of our only. Let's see if this is the right one. I should probably go for the copper version. Give me a second. This will make sense in a second here. Yeah, perfect. We can probably back it off and have it kind of in the middle here. Why is it that way? I rotated this incorrectly. Wait a minute. Is this the copper version? Yeah, let's do the copper version. Okay, let's make sure that we have this rotated correctly this time. And now we're in blueprint mode. We're not going to need a ton of these, but a good chunk of these makes a lot of sense. And then while we're in here, we'll just make sure we've got these cubed up. One, it allows us to make more pressure cubes, which allows us to use more plates. At the end of the day, I know I should just put an overflow sink on that plate, but I really want to start using those plates. And then we're just going to peel this off, this pressure cube connection here, and dump this into storage. And then we'll just come right back down this line to give these guys, our nuclear pasta, full access to the pressure cubes as they make their way down. So now we've got extended storage of pressure cubes. And the reason why I'm so focused on that is because I'm looking at our upcoming recipes. If I look at the thermals, we have turbo motors. And this is the turbo motor option we want to use. We want to avoid cooling units, even though we're about to make a ton of cooling units. We want to avoid cooling units and radios. Use the nitrogen. And sure, we'll use some stators. Now, that means we're going to use a few extra pipes, but we actually have a decent amount of stators in storage. So if we just extend our pressure cube stored amount and our construction capability, I think we'll be in a good spot. I don't know that I want pressure cubes in my inventory. When I look at this, it makes it seem like that we have them in our inventory. Oh, there they are. If I really wanted to open this up, I would store nuclear pasta. Oh, it's gonna wreck our power though. Because if we kicked all 10 of these on, our power would struggle. Though we have about, what, 7,000 megawatts of power extra? I should probably be storing that. Either way, here's where we're going to put in our cooling units. One of the hard drives we researched from our exploration gave us the updated cooling unit recipe. I'm just gotta remember, which recipe did we use that included fused? I remember now. It's the fused. So we'll just load the fused frames and make the adjustments. The fact that this is on gas and metals tells me by default that this is the right one to copy from. Though some tweaks could be helpful. Let's confirm our plan before we go any further. Cooling device. So instead of using rubber and water, we'll just use motors. And we should have a halfway decent amount of motors because right below us is the motors factory. Right here. This though needs, of all things, it needs rods. Yeah, because we need rotors and we definitely have screws, so we just need rotors. But that's something to worry about in the future here. Where are we? Nitrogen gas, a motor, a heat sink. And are we okay with creating this alley? Because we're definitely creating an alley here. I think so. I mean, normally this would be like 81 machines. That'll probably cut it down by 18. So that maxes us out at 63 machines. That's 300 and change cooling systems. Yeah, we're only going to use less than 100 of these to build all the thermal rockets that we want. So yeah, I think we're fine. We're fine. This is otherwise fine. We just need to change this to the cooling. Oh, that's the only thing I did? What are these guys? Heat sink motor and nitrogen gas. Heat. Let's try that again. Heat. Motor. And nitrogen gas. That music seems extra low today. What's going on? There we go. I think that's about right. Not sure we need to do much else. Let's just save this as cooling. And then we should make these icy blue. Oh, they're already kind of blue. That's unfortunate. I'll go for a teal. It's cooling, so it's going to be a cool color. And then inside here, I think we might be able to squeeze in a little bit. Something like that. And then we'll put in a tiny bit of decoration. Just to give us a little bit of contrast. Those two signs, even though they're basically the same sign, will not copy paste. All right. That's looking pretty good. Let's give that a save. And then we'll just come over here and see if we can start cranking these in. I guess having some sense of how many of these we want. If we look at the turbos, we're not going to use the turbo motor. It's just easier to type the turbo than it is to type this thermal rocket one. And here we're going to want, I think it's 18 of these machines. So that's what? 18 times 3, 54 total cooling units. And here we're making 5 per. Oh yeah. So however many we decide to make is plenty. Especially since basically the only reason we are going to make cooling units is for that purpose. Though that's not true. That's not true. We also are probably going to need them for supercomputers. I like this alternate. So simple, and you can do them on assemblers. Though here we could avoid it. And here we don't even make computers to make supercomputers. That's interesting. So why else would we make computers if we're not going to make them for... Oh, okay, so you still need them for adaptive control units. Yeah, that's the only way you can make it. So getting off of computers could be good. And then we could leave those for this and then use that for that. And then we have the assembly director. So all that to say, well, in order for that to work, we'd have to expand our radio construction. Let me get real distracted for a second. All right, that drone is Tokyo drifting. What I'm trying to figure out, you know, a fully efficient planning ahead type person for this game. I've played through this 4 times now though, so I'm kind of winging it. Would have a planner in place. The thing is if you don't know exactly what recipes you're going to get, that could really throw a spanner in the works, as it were. But my point is that I want to see how good are we at making radios. Right now, we're totally good. We've got 2 full storage containers of radios. No, that's not true. Just 1 belt's worth full. We're trying to build a little bit of a buffer, but it hasn't really gotten there yet. I kind of want to side a totally disconnected side supply of radios. Okay, so how good are we making radios? How good are we at making radios? Excuse me. Because if we're making a decent amount, or if we only need to add 1 easy to add thing. Radios. Quartz crystals, the only thing we're short on radios? Well, we're also short on high-speed connectors. Yeah, high-speed connectors are also an issue. How easy is it to make computers? I mean, this is really the recipe for us because we've got a ton of circuit boards. Crystal oscillators. We can test what's going on there right here. Our crystal oscillator factory is doing okay. Okay, I think that means we should make a good amount of these. Maybe not a whole floor, maybe a half a floor. Let's start there and kind of get a sense, because we do have this gap issue. We'll start there and kind of get a sense of where we are. Oh. Shift gives you 10. That's good to know. Put that into the category of things I probably should have known that I didn't know until just now. And this is going out this direction. Okay, so a good chunk of just sort of straight building here until we run out of resources and have to go shopping. This is kind of why I was trying to get rid of pressure cubes and nuclear pasta. Just the kind of stuff you don't really need when you're building. Okay, what's stopping us? Quartz crystal would be a nice addition. If we picked up all the quartz crystal we needed, we could probably pop back and build a couple more and then get right back to it. Oh yeah, Fixmas is over, so some of my blueprints are going to allow me to keep making Fixmas lights, but I won't be able to... Oh, what? It's going to let me copy this? Okay. They took it away from my toolbar, but I guess if I can see it, I can still use it. We'll see how long I maintain that. The factory has plenty of resources to keep building ornament bundles for an extreme amount of time. Plus, I cited like 100,000 gifts. We might be able to finish this whole build with Fixmas lights. I just want to get these guys powered so we would have power up here so we could build a hyper cannon. And we'll go way out here. Blueprint a cannon in. We'll jump out and grab the quartz crystal. All the quartz crystal. I am so glad we found that cooling device alternate recipe. We were going to have to build an insane, it was going to be insane water collection and distribution factory. It would have taken a really long time. We're here for quartz crystals. This should be more than enough. Let's just take them all and then drop off a few. Yeah, that's plenty. While we're at it though, I think we should drag in these motors. The rest should be able to upload. Reinforced plate. That's another one that could probably upload for us in the background. Oh, those sheets. We're going to want a few sheets anyway. For some reason I thought, what if the sheets aren't uploading? And then we've got those beams, but we ran out of space. Mainly because our inventory is just a mess. Like 2 hyper or high-speed connections. Not really doing us a bunch of good. Half a stack of leaves. That 2 out of 4 is a very subtle bug that only appears when you use ornament bundles and the Fixmas lights for wiring. Okay. One more. Bing, bam, boom. That's a nice 9 of those. Now, after the fact, of course, likely something I should have done beforehand. Let's check in on our connections. All right, let's see here. I want to check to make sure, like, we're loading the right amount of stuff. Right, we still have to get our empties out. What have I done? I thought I was doing something interesting with the blueprint by putting in an extra wall, but didn't take into account that that would block us. We're not rebuilding this. I've already put the wiring in. But see, this is why you check. You build a little, then you check your work. So this should be the cooling device. Oh no, these are the inputs. This is the output. I mean, that part of it's extremely straightforward. The only thing I might want to tweak is where we align this. If it's really close to the edge, it's a lot easier when you turn the corner. All right, give me a second. I'm going to go in here and rip these walls out. I'll be right back. All right, that part of it's done. I'm tempted to just connect the nitrogen here. Just to make room. Either our inputs or outputs of our nitrogen is not great right now. So I want to take a peek at that. See where we are. Our use of casings is relatively low. This first one's rocking and rolling though. And I'm seeing a lot of green lights down that level. These guys are just looking for heavy modular frames. We do have a surplus of nitrogen gas that we can pull in relatively easily though. Let's figure out the endpoint. Oh, that's a crash. That might be a total system crash. I'll be right back. Okay, it was a pretty hard crash, but we're back. And I think what I'm going to do is just manually move a chunk of stuff. Alright, I mean, we do want to build this belt, but we also want to get as much nitrogen gas into the system as quickly as possible. And the reason is that we're really not making enough nitrogen gas to support this whole factory. But if we can get, you know, 30,000 canisters of nitrogen in place. Actually, if I take it directly out of here, that'll let this guy unload. And then we can take the rest here. So if we can get, you know, hundreds of thousands of units of nitrogen gas in the factory, then when we start using it all, we'll have such a huge storehouse of it that it really won't matter. I'm still kind of the do enough to win the game mindset. So that should give the unpackager a little to do. It can take out 240 nitrogen per minute, but this guy only needs 60 per minute. So that will be an additional storage. But all in all, we were going to target this corner for the in and the out, I guess. And then we were going to hit heat sinks and modular or motors. That doesn't have to go all the way to the corner. And this one, okay, so it looks like something like this would work if these can reach the top. Oh, one of these is an in and one of these is an out. I think I put that in wrong. This one needs to be an like this. That can't be right. Yeah, we should connect it up here first. Try to get things correct one at a time. So we'll send you in. Then we'll receive the empties on this side. So this side needs to be the out or the in. And this side needs to be the out. Did I just make them the same? We got that side right. This side is wrong. Go like that. One of these is wrong. Which one is it? This one. Really, really wants to be wrong though. Now we just got to find where we hook this stuff up. I really, really don't need. We could easily split this. We're never going to use all of this. We might just go the other way to get the empties back. How do I... Why is this giving me the waggle? We'll put these in here. Drop some infinite lifts, though. I guess we'll put in some faux holes. Maintain the illusion. You know what? I might turn this just to give it a little bit more room to get the output in nicely. Are we dropping empties? Not yet. Let me get some empties on the belt. What a nightmare if I got this backwards. One canister isn't... Empty fluid tank has no label. So why aren't they down here? There's definitely an output. Oh, because they're running away from this. So where we put this isn't known yet. We're basically gonna have to do the whole thing unless I reverse the direction of these. That would have been pretty good, actually, to reverse the direction of these outputs so they would have landed here. Yeah, because this is gonna go here and those are gonna go to the next one. Nothing is ever gonna touch this one as far as the empties go. And this is where the cooling devices come out. I probably don't need to double belt this output, but I need to connect this top part. That's at the very least, because that's where the machines empty out. This isn't a great design on my part, but it's fine. You know, sometimes things are just fine. Okay, so that's more or less one of these ready to go. I don't know that we need a million. We're not going to have access or room for a million, so let's put in the other 9 and see what this looks like. We lost our preferred placement because we got the boot on the crash. Let's see. So this way. Good chunk of these to click into existence here. All right, easy enough. And then I think while we're up here, let's get power. Uh-oh, I've made a mistake. Interesting. Yeah, I only have one power pole connection here. So these are all full except for the last one. And then this one will be the one that we use to connect this row. I should probably have some sort of gas chamber that allows for a quick pull of the gas and return of the empty. This is actually the worst way to do this if you want to recycle empties, because we're stacking a ton of full nitrogen canisters in the unpackagers themselves, and they're only going to use what, 1/4 of their capability at the absolute max. Now, let's see. This empty. Nice part about having these labeled is we can know for sure. I mean, it's possible. It's not impossible. This is enough cooling systems. If I go computers more traditionally, then this is enough. Because we're making, what, 45 cooling systems per minute? The numbers get real weird the higher up you go. Just like anything, I suppose. Is that right? That doesn't look right. I think I just poisoned that belt. This is supposed to go here. And then we'd have to do the same thing right here. Yeah, that means that these are all poisoned now. That's not great. Fixing this is going to be a borderline nightmare. All right, well, good news is we connected the belts before. Okay, so it's not that bad. It's just this one. It's one lift. And there might be a little extra in there that we've got to pull again. There we go. And then we'll just double check this container. No empties in here. Perfect. This is not perfect height. And then I think all we need to do is get the outer pieces put in place. Oh, that's not right. Why is that one dropping so low? trying to figure out why is this so low compared to the other one. Yeah, I think that works. Now, let's do a quick connect on this. Motors and heat sinks. Oh, bad news is we don't have any of those things. Iron rods. Or is it rotors? Do we have... Are we uploading rotors? We might not even be uploading rotors. They're so bad. Let's grab some rotors. And then... So, yeah, here's the problem. So we don't have any... We don't have any rotors. I'll just cram a few rotors in here. Just so we can make a few motors. And then over here, they're coming down for storage down the line. Here, and they're coming out. Do I want to do this? Technically, I could reconnect these, but that's unnecessary. We'll just put a nice little lift. Turn and burn this down the line. We are going to want some motors for turbo motors at some point, but for right now, let's get the target for motors. I just want to get it outside of the scope of all this going on. Okay. So that actually should get us going. Yep, there we go. Nice supply of rotors. At least motors, excuse me. At least enough for us to test. And then we'll just have to know. I guess I'm going to have to make some rotor supply or some iron rod supply. The heat sinks we could probably just bring over using this bus belt that we've got going. Am I willing to commit to that? I guess I am. Let me build this. I'll check in once we're over there to make sure that we got the heat sink. We actually have a level here that we're not using yet. Yeah, our crystal oscillator factory is doing pretty good. Okay. Oh no. How terrible. We'll see if we can get through the restart reasonably quickly. I don't know. Sometimes this game is stable beyond belief, and other times it's like today. Okay. We are back. And I'm just checking in on our cable factory since we're kind of right here. Looks like it's outputting nicely. Does look like we're actually collecting all the possible cables, so that's something to keep in mind. It's like we're probably not fully belting. I think we knew though when we put this together that we were only outputting one belt. So it doesn't surprise me. But where over here are the heat sinks? Somewhere over here we've got heat sinks. Luckily I've started to label things, so finding things is a little easier. Wow, we just sent that one lonely radio. I need to start putting in some map action. All right, so the sinks are connected to the radios. Give me a second. As soon as we gotta relocate our heat sinks, whatever it is, we've got a decent amount of them because it looks like this is backed up. It's a decent amount though because we don't have enough quartz crystal. Okay, so here's where we're inputting an absolute ton of heat sinks. Oh wow. So let's see where that link is happening. Looks like it's super lifted here. I might be willing just to steal from this. But here's where we are. We'll just go around, have two heat sink outputs side by side. All right. Heat sinks, but then we need to get it on that. You know what? I think I'm just going to pull it. Well, it's right here. We're like 90% there. Well, let's see if we can find a reasonable angle here. Somewhere-ish on this line. That's where we get the heat sink, and then we just go straight up almost perfectly to get on this bus. All right, so then we'll just connect you like so. And as soon as I get the heat sinks connected over there, I'll be right back. All right, so we've got the heat sinks. Basically, they're at least in the vicinity. We know we want to get them connected. I suppose like here. And then we'll just do a nice little double back. Like so. And then The bus is one level down. Let's drop this down, say 8. And then we'll just pull you through here. Oh wait, so here it's 32 hard way, so 24. That's not flat, it's close. Look at that. So many ways to make your life easier when you're building. Now, how do we get these heat sinks up to a reasonable level? Where is this? Is it in the middle of these two? I really want to connect this, but there's really no good way to do it. Unless I put in like a false lift. Oh no, we just split to the side. No worries. Like so. Or so I thought. Okay. Heat sinks are in place. So the one thing I don't like about this is expanding the empties is going to be a bit of a problem. Because we can't decide to stop building now and then easily add more empties. I guess it's not that bad though. Let me connect these empties back and then we'll call it. I probably shouldn't have put this outer belt on first. A few of the empties are making their way back. So now we've got that. How many empties are we talking about here? Not very many. Not very many at all. Almost not enough to worry about. Let's call it there, actually. That's a good chunk. We're going to let this... I think we need to spend a little time making rods. Then we'll come back and finish this cooling system section. Because right now we aren't going to have enough motors to build anything, really. So we'll go back. We'll build some rods. And then we'll come back here, and then we'll decide exactly how many cooling systems we're going to put in place. But we'll deal with all that in the next episode. Thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. I'm trying to build my super awesome thumbnail.